This is a story of tragedy, of injustice, and a stark reminder of the real-world inequality faced by so many on a daily basis. On Monday, in what many are calling a case of semi-sanctioned vigilantism, Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old man experiencing homelessness and suffering from an apparent mental health crisis, was killed on board a New York City subway after another passenger placed him in a chokehold. Protests quickly ensued, and the New York City chief medical examiner ruled the death a homicide. This story began on the train, when Neely, a popular Michael Jackson impersonator, was screaming about being hungry and thirsty and throwing his coat on the ground. Reports suggest he didn't physically attack anyone, which makes his death all the more shocking. On Wednesday evening, the New York City Police Department revealed that a Marine veteran had questioned over the altercation, though it's unclear if anyone had been arrested or charged. Many have defended the veteran's actions, whilst protesters stormed the streets and subway stations in New York City to demand justice and better responses to homelessness and the mental health crisis in the state. New York City Mayor Eric Adams acknowledged that there is a lot we don't know about the death, but he went on to point out that record investments had been made in providing mental health care and getting people off the streets, clearly not enough. New York City Council member Tiffany Caban wrote that people experiencing homelessness, mental illness, hunger and frustration need and deserve compassion and trauma-informed care, and called out the officials and media outlets that instead told us that they are threats to be contained by force. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez echoed this sentiment, tweeting that the accused murderer had been protected with passive headlines and no charges because Neely was homeless and had been portrayed as a threat. She added her vocal support for investments in socially owned and managed affordable housing, safe respites and emergency responses for those experiencing mental illness, and an instant halt to repeated arrests, forced hospitalization or murder. The death of Jordan Neely has caused a great deal of upheaval in the New York area, and for good reason. It is a tragedy any way you look at it, and a wealth of people are now calling for change in the way society deals with homelessness and mental illness. It is time for the relevant parties to answer their cries, and ensure that no one else needs to suffer the same fate.